Aero bikes are all about raw speed, and they just keep getting faster. In this video, we're going to have a look at the bikes that we think are going to be the ones to beat in 2023, both in the World Tour and in the Sprint for the Town Sign, and there are plenty to choose from. With the UCI removing the 3:1 regulation, which prevented tubes from being more than 3 times deeper than their width, engineers have quite literally gone deeper in the pursuit of speed, and that has resulted in some really exciting new bikes. Why should the UCI regulations make a difference to what I ride in my chain gang, you might be asking? But the fact is, generally the top aero bikes are developed initially for pro racing, with the notable exception of the Bianchi Oltre RC, which we couldn't miss out of our list. Let's first of all look at a radical new bike that stirred up plenty of debate and is UCI legal, the all-new Trek Madone. In the case of the Madone, the newly formulated Camdale tube shapes were overshadowed by the bike's crazy-looking ISOFlow technology. Gone is the ISO speed decoupler of the previous bike that had been introduced to help make the bike more comfortable. In its place is a hole. By removing the adjustable ISO speed system of the last Madone, the bike became both simpler and lighter. Combined with the use of 800 series OC/LV carbon, the new frame weighs 300 grams less than the previous model. But of course, the cutout section was also created with aerodynamics in mind. Trek say it's a way to direct some high energy flow into a low energy region of the bike. What that means is that the seat tube area creates a disproportionate amount of drag, and the hole helps to dissipate this by adding what Trek call a jet of fast moving air. The new frame is claimed to be almost 20 watts faster than the last generation, which equates to 60 seconds per hour when ridden at 45 kilometers an hour, and that is a lot. Like the new Trek Madone, the new Giant Propel Advanced SL is both lighter and faster than before. Its weight was reduced through a fusion process, which sees the top tube grafted to the seat tube using filament to hand weave the tubes together before remoulding them under high pressure and heat to strengthen the junction. Giant say the new Propel is 225 grams lighter than its predecessor, with the new advanced SL frame weighing 845 grams, with the complete frame set claimed to be almost 14% lighter than the outgoing model. To make the Propel faster, Giant used a combination of airflow simulation software, wind tunnel testing, and real-world application. The resulting aero system shaping led to what Giant described as truncated ellipse aerofoil shapes across the down tube, seat tube, and seat stays, as well as a redesigned frontal area, an area crucial to the reduction of drag. There's even 2 different bottle cages designed to improve the aerodynamic performance of both the down tube and the seat tube. The result is a bike that Giant say is 27 seconds faster over 40 kilometers at 40 kilometers per hour, thanks to a reduction in drag by more than 6 watts. This is the bike that the all-conquering Jumbo-Visma team were riding all through 2022, a long time before the official launch. As with all the new aero bikes we've seen, the frame's aero profiles have been deepened, a product of the relaxing of the UCI regulations. This is most noticeable at the head tube and the bottom bracket area. Elsewhere, the trailing edges of the tubes are more aggressively shaped, while the rear dropouts have been simplified a little due to the frame being compatible with electronic group sets only, another trend we're seeing. It comes with new reserve wheels that have differential rim profiles and save over 5 watts compared to the previous wheels. The front end has been overhauled with a new handlebar that, despite the radical Y shape without a conventional stem, also has the benefit of reducing the system weight by a little over 50 grams. Naturally, as a pro-level bike, the S5 doesn't come cheap. If you want to create your own dream build, then a frame set retails at just under £5,500. Let's start with the numbers. Scott claimed the new foil is 20% faster, 10% more comfortable, and 9% lighter than the outgoing version. Those are some big claims. Like the other manufacturers, Scott took advantage of the UCI rule change and redeveloped the new foil, pushing right up to what's legal. That meant deeper cross sections for the tubes, as well as the fork crown being a little higher up from the front wheel and the oversized head tube acting as a fairing according to Scott. The bottom bracket area has also been beefed up, while the seat tube now follows the arc of the tyre much more closely before the seat post itself transitions to shoot straight upwards. The seat stays are designed to shelter the brake calipers, but they've also been angled at 10 degrees to force the laminar flow of air into the spinning spokes. That doesn't sound to us like something that would make it go faster, but Scott conducted whole system testing and used an actual wind tunnel rather than only using CFD software. Scott say this iteration is 1 minute and 18 seconds faster over 40 km at 40 km per hour than the previous model. Another neat little point is that the bikes are being sold with 28mm tyres spec'd on the rear and 25mm tyres on the front, but it is eye-poppingly expensive. The flagship SRAM Red E-TAP Axis equipped foil RC Ultimate build cost an incredible £15,899. But happily, there are plenty of models that come in cheaper than this. We've spent quite a lot of time talking about this bike recently and have possibly slightly unfairly poked fun at it. Bianchi's new bike, which it says is the first hyperbike, has air deflector technology. These are little air intakes either side of the head tube, which Bianchi explains are inspired not only by motor racing but also by aerospace and architecture. It is, Bianchi say, a world exclusive patent pending technology. Bianchi makes some huge claims for the bike. It saves 17.1 watts at 50 km per hour, but also has a 30% advantage over the best aero road bikes in the market in variable wind conditions. It's also claimed to weigh 6.85 kilos in a size 55, which is pretty impressive. We don't have our own wind tunnel to independently test it against those other bikes, and we haven't had one on our scales yet, but there's no doubt that this will be one of the most talked about bikes in 2023. Bianchi will be the bike sponsor of Arkea Samsic in the World Tour next year, so we'll see the Oltre RC in action in pro racing, but without the air deflectors, which are simply bolted to the head tube and very easily removed. So if they don't win everything in sight, well, that'll be why. The specialised Tarmac SL7 and the Pinarello Dogma F might not technically be aero bikes. They're all-rounders since the two brands have decided that separate aero and climbing bikes aren't necessary. The Tarmac SL7 was a result of the Venge, specialised last true aero bike, merging with the Tarmac. And ever since the original Pinarello Dogma F8 was launched in 2014, completely redesigned and aeroized, the Italian brand also doesn't see the need for a dedicated aero bike. We'll see these two bikes winning plenty of races in the World Tour in 2023, and if you're thinking about the best bike for the chain gang, the club run, or even the trip to the Alps, it could well be that one of these all-rounders serves you best. Most recently released is the Colnago V4Rs. Now, you may have seen a bike looking pretty similar to this one, as Colnago debuted the Prototipo at the Tour de France, where 5 different versions of the bike were being used, each with a different carbon layup as they continued to develop the bike. Now, launched just in time for the start of the new year, we have the V4Rs, which is claimed to be even more slippery in the wind. Colnago is saying nearly 20 watts faster than the outgoing V3RS. It's also claimed to be lighter, but only by 57 grams, and of course, stiffer. The V3RS created some rather large boots to fill, but since the Prototipo was piloted to 23 victories and 28 podiums in the space of 4 months, we're confident that Colnago was able to maintain the winning recipe. Of course, riders win races, but you certainly need the tools to do it, and from the look of it, the V4Rs is quite the tool to have. I doubt you'll be surprised, but it's not cheap, as the frame set comes in roughly on par with the cost of an S-Works Tarmac SL7 or a Pinarello Dogma F frame set, as it will set you back €5,250. While it's certainly at the top end of the market and probably not one for the masses, it sure does look good. So, if money were no object, which bike would you choose? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and we'll see you again very soon.